G'day DM fans. I'm back for my last video for 2019. So for my last video of the year, I decided to talk about rush decks. So today I'm going to bring you 3 of my favourite rush decks of all time. And I think these 3 rush decks are the best in the Duel Masters TCG. So getting stuck straight into it, I'm going to cover Fire Darkness Rush. I've covered this deck in the past, but I'll just go over it real quick now. First up we got Deadly Fighter Breakclaw, the classic 1-drop, breaks a shield turn 2. Next is Comet Missile, gets rid of blockers. Next card is Rickaboo Screwdriver, gets rid of blockers but can also attack shields when it needs to. Rickaboo the Dismantler, speed attacker, stays on the field. And of course, Firefighter Magnus. Speed attacker that's hard to deal with. So these 5 Fire Rush cards are pretty much like the best Fire Rush cards that you can get. Pretty much these 20 cards and you put in another 20 cards of a different civilization. And, you know, Bob's your uncle, you've got yourself a pretty good rush deck. So you'll see these 5 cards used quite often in Duel Masters rush decks. So onto the Darkness section. We have a playset of Mariuza Twister. Just the 1-drop, dies when it attacks, basically. Good with snake attack. Volunteer Shadow of Solitude, just a cheap creature. Propeller Mutant dies. When it dies, your opponent has to discard a card. Spinning Terror the Wretched, yeah, just a really good 2-mana darkness creature for rush. Usually stays at about 3000 power, so he's pretty strong for only 2 mana. And of course, Snake Attack gives all your stuff double breaker to the end of the turn. Snake Attack, in my opinion, differentiates this deck to other rush decks because of, you know, you can get to turn 4, drop that Snake Attack. Hopefully your opponent doesn't have any shield triggers, and you know, Bob's your uncle, you win. But of course you need to build up a decent board presence before you use Snake Attack. So yeah, that's the Fire Darkness Rush deck. Onto the Fire Light Rush deck. I think Fire Light's a little bit better than Darkness Fire, but anyway, onto the profile. We've got, of course, Deadly Fighter Breakclaw once again. A lot of these cards are going to be the same from the Fire section. So of course, another playset of Comet Missile. Another playset of Rickaboo Screwdriver. This is where it gets a little bit different. I'm running a playset of Kook Pilon. I'm using Kook Pilon in this deck because we don't have many 2-drops. So Kook Pilon, in my opinion, is the next best 2-drop for a rush deck. Just 2 mana, can't be attacked, very hard to deal with if your opponent can't destroy it with, like, let's say, Crimson Hammer. And of course, the classic speed attackers, Rickaboo, the Dismantler, and Firefighter Magnus. So those are 6 fire cards in this deck. Or 24 fire cards. Onto the light section, I got a playset of Tolk the Oracle. Just a 1-drop, attacks when it wants to. That's what makes this deck really good, is that we basically have 8 cards that we can play on turn 1 that can break shields when you include Tolk. So yeah, Tolk's just a really good card in this deck. Next up we have the Aura Giga. Of course we're using him as evolution bait, but he can also come in handy to defend our little attackers because he does have blocker. Next card is Soul Halo Guardian. Just another evolution bait, 2-drop. Yeah, it gets more stronger when you cast a spell. And of course the main card, Labagu the Immaculate. When he hits the field, taps all the blockers. That's mainly how you want to win the game. Neutralize all the blockers, attack with everything with Labagu, and yeah. Once again, hopefully no shield triggers, and GG. Now, onto what I think is the best Duel Masters rush deck, and that of course is Fire Nature Rush. Now, I've got this deck in this cool little box that I got a while back. Mainly because this is one of my favourite decks that I own. And I've also got it in these cool Duel Masters sleeves that I got from eBay. They come from Japan, and I like how it's even got English writing on there. Yeah, just really cool sleeves. Trouble with these sleeves is that they're very metallic-y, so you really have to put another sleeve on top of them because they're really a pain in the ass to shuffle. But you can get these other sleeves that go over the top of it, and that makes the shuffle feel a lot better. Anyway, onto the profile. Once again, we pretty much have the exact same fire section. Braid Claw, Comet Missile, Rickaboo Screwdriver, Rickaboo the Dismantler, and of course Firefighter Magnus. I have a lot of play sets of these 5 fire cards because, I don't know, I'm just a big fan of rush decks. So, onto the nature stuff. We have a play set of Hardy Cap and Polygon. Just a 1-drop creature, 2000 power. When it breaks a shield, goes back to your hand. Pretty good. Next is Sniper Mosquito. Sniper Mosquito is very good in this deck because whenever he attacks, you've got to return a card from your mana zone to your hand. So it doesn't matter what we put into our mana zone because Sniper Mosquito will just get it back. So yeah, really helps toolbox the deck in the later stages of the duel. The next card I'm using is Poisonous Mushroom. Now, a lot of people put Torcon or Crowwinger into this slot. I like Poisonous Mushroom because it has good synergy with Sniper Mosquito. So Sniper Mosquito turn 1 and then Poisonous Mushroom on turn 2 is really good because you can just get that card straight back from your mana zone. When you think about it, Poisonous Mushroom is also kind of like a 1-drop because you pay 2 mana for it, you get a card from your hand, put it into your mana zone, and you effectively gain a mana. So it kind of like Poisonous Mushroom kind of only costs 1 mana at that point. So if you drop like a 1-drop on turn 1, and then Poisonous Mushroom on turn 2, and then you gain a mana, and then you can summon another 1-drop. So potentially by turn 3, you could have like 3 creatures on the field. And that's one of the main reasons why I like Poisonous Mushroom. Anyway, next card is Quixotic Hero Swine Snout. Of course, it's a beat stick. Yeah, it's just really good, 4000 power the majority of the time. Speaking of 4000 power, the last card is Gone to the Warrior Savage. 4000 power is just really hard to deal with, especially on turn 2 or turn 3 or whatever. And yeah, that right there, in my opinion, is the best rush deck in Duel Masters. Fire Nature. So there you go, guys. That is my little Duel Masters rush deck video. Yeah. Rush is just one of those deck archetypes that you just, you go in hard. Hopefully your opponent doesn't have any shield triggers. And decks, like, when you're building your Duel Masters decks, you really have to consider Rush, because it's really annoying to lose to Rush, because it just attacks so aggressively. So yeah, when you're building your decks, always consider the fact that you could be going up against a Rush deck. So yeah, put plenty of shield triggers into your decks and you should be good to go. So yeah, guys, that's my video. I'd also like to touch on, there's a new game on a phone app that's called Duel Masters Players. I've been playing that for quite a bit now. It's only in Japanese, so just look up on Google, Duel Masters Players, and it'll show you how to download it. But the cards I've got in there, they all look like they're from the base set, so I can, even though I can't understand Japanese, I can still play the game. And the game is actually pretty good, so I'd recommend checking that game out. I don't know if in the future they'll release more cards that'll be, not from the early sets that we know of. But yeah, then I'll be pretty much screwed because I don't know Japanese. But yeah, at the moment the game's really good, so I would recommend checking out Duel Masters Players. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching my videos. Next year I'll be bringing out some more videos, so stay tuned for those. And guys, hopefully I'll see you next year.